Drummerly.com Unlimited Drama Series.
My wife always packed for business trips like she was prepping for D-Day. This time, it was just a weekend with the girls in Bar Harbor, or so she thought I believed. I'm Eli Baxter, 43 years old, owner of Baxter's Used Cars in Willoughby, Maine. Not exactly the glamorous life my wife Melissa dreamed of when she married me 15 years ago. Back then, I was ambitious, full of dreams about expanding the business. Now I'm just a guy who knows the difference between a good deal and getting screwed. Melissa had been acting strange for weeks. New perfume, secretive phone calls, sudden interest in yoga classes that somehow never made her more flexible at home. The signs were there, but I'd been too busy trying to keep the car lot afloat to pay attention. That Friday night, while she showered, I noticed her purse sitting open on the dresser. A second phone peeked out from the side pocket. Not her usual iPhone with the cracked screen she'd been complaining about for months. This was a sleek black Android I'd never seen before. My hands shook as I powered it on. No lock screen. The messages were right there, waiting for me like a punch to the gut. Can't wait for our weekend, baby. Eli's too stupid to figure it out anyway. TK. Miss you already. Going to make up for lost time at the lake house. Hope you're ready for me. That pathetic car salesman husband of yours called earlier asking about recalls. Almost laughed in his face. TK. He's working late again tonight. Perfect timing. See you in an hour. TK Travis Kemp, my wife's ex-boyfriend from college. The real estate developer who'd made millions buying up lakefront property around Willoughby. The same Travis who'd made a point of stopping by my lot 6 months ago to buy a car, flashing his Rolex and talking about his success. I took photos of every message, my phone's camera flash illuminating each devastating word. The shower was still running. Melissa was probably using that expensive body wash she'd started buying recently, the one that smelled like Travis's cologne. When she emerged in her silk robe, hair wrapped in a towel, she looked radiant, glowing, ready for her romantic weekend with my replacement. All packed? I asked, sitting on the edge of our bed. Just about. Sienna's picking me up at 8. Sienna Drake, her law partner and best friend. The woman who'd probably been covering for Melissa's affair from the beginning. Have fun in Bar Harbor. Try the lobster rolls at that place we went to on our anniversary. She kissed my forehead like I was her elderly father. You're sweet. Don't wait up. After she left, I sat in our kitchen drinking coffee and planning. At least she wasn't cheating with a poet. That would have been harder to destroy. I'd installed a GPS tracker on her car months ago, when I suspected she was lying about working late. Now I watched the little blue dot move through town, past the highway to Bar Harbor, and straight to Travis's lakefront mansion on the other side of the lake. My phone buzzed. A text from Melissa. Made it safely. Girls are already here. Love you. I replied, love you too. Forgot your toothbrush if you need me to drop it off. 20 minutes later, my phone rang. Travis's number. Back off, Eli. You don't want to play this game. His voice was calm, confident. The voice of a man who'd never had to fight for anything in his life. What game is that, Travis? The one where you lose everything. Your wife, your business, your dignity. Walk away now, and maybe I'll let you keep the car lot. I hung up and smiled for the first time in weeks. He had no idea who he was dealing with. Saturday morning, I opened the lot as usual. Frankie Morrison, my oldest salesman, was already there with coffee and donuts from Murphy's Bakery. Boss, you look like hell, Frankie said. He was 62, had been selling cars since before I was born, and could spot trouble from 3 counties away. Melissa's having an affair. Frankie nearly choked on his coffee. Jesus, Eli, you sure? I showed him the photos of the text messages. His weathered face darkened as he read. That son of a bitch Kemp. I knew something was off when he came sniffing around here. What are you gonna do? I'm going to destroy him, both of them. But I need your help, Frankie grinned. Hell, I've been waiting for some excitement around here. What's the plan? I pulled up Travis's customer file on my computer. Remember that recall notice we got from Ford last week? The one about the Explorer transmissions? Yeah, affects maybe a dozen cars on the lot. Travis drives a 2019 Explorer. Black, fully loaded. Same model that's affected. Frankie's eyes lit up. You want to swap his ride with one of our loaners? The blue one with the bad transmission. The one that dies every time you hit a red light. That's beautiful, boss. Absolutely beautiful. We spent the morning preparing. I called Travis's office, spoke to his secretary in my most professional voice. This is Eli Baxter, from Baxter's Used Cars. We sold Mr. Kemp his Explorer last year, and we've received a recall notice. It's urgent. The transmission could fail without warning. Oh my goodness! He's out of town this weekend, but he'll want to handle this immediately. We can pick up his vehicle and provide a loaner while we handle the recall work. No charge, of course. By noon, we had Travis's Explorer in our shop and the Lemon parked in his driveway. I'd also installed a GPS tracker under the driver's seat. If Travis wanted to play games, I'd make sure I knew every move he made. That evening, I drove to the Rusty Anchor, Willoughby's only decent bar. Marcy Sullivan, the bartender, had been pouring drinks there for 20 years. She knew everyone's business before they did. Eli, haven't seen you in weeks. Where's Melissa? Girls' weekend in Bar Harbor. I ordered a beer and settled onto my usual stool. That's nice. You work too hard anyway. Marcy wiped down glasses, her sharp eyes studying my face. Everything okay? Just thinking about making some changes. Before I could elaborate, Sienna Drake walked in. Tall, blonde, perfectly dressed even on a Saturday night. She spotted me immediately and made her way over. Eli, what a surprise seeing you here. Sienna, how's the girls' weekend going? Her smile faltered for just a second. Oh, you know how it is. Lots of wine, lots of gossip. I bet. Melissa seemed excited about the lake house. Now her face went pale. Lake house? The one in Bar Harbor where you're all staying? She mentioned Travis recommended it. Sienna's hands trembled as she ordered a martini. Right, yes. Beautiful place. I pulled out my phone and started recording. Funny thing though, I called the Harborview Inn, where Melissa said you had reservations. They've never heard of any of you. Maybe she booked somewhere else, or maybe she's at Travis Kemp's lake house, and you've been covering for her affair. Sienna's martini glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. The entire bar went quiet. You don't know what you're talking about, she whispered. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I have photos of their text messages. I know about their plans, and I know you've been helping them. I leaned closer, my voice dropping to a whisper only she could hear. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to stop covering for them. You're going to stop lying to me. And you're going to stay out of my way while I handle this situation. Or what? Or I'll make sure everyone in this town knows that Melissa Baxter's law partner has been helping her commit adultery. How do you think that'll affect your practice? Sienna grabbed her purse and fled. I finished my beer while Marcy swept up the broken glass. Trouble in paradise? She asked. Something like that. My phone buzzed with a text from Melissa. Having so much fun. Wish you were here, I replied. Enjoy every minute. You deserve it. Sunday morning, I drove to Travis's lakefront mansion. The house sat on 5 acres of pristine property, all glass and steel and modern architecture that screamed money. My beat-up pickup truck looked like a turd in a jewelry box parked in his circular driveway. I'd borrowed a uniform shirt from Murphy's delivery service and carried a clipboard. The blue Explorer with the bad transmission sat where Travis had left it, probably already causing him problems. Travis answered the door in silk pajamas and a bathrobe that probably cost more than I made in a month. His perfect hair was mussed, and he had the satisfied look of a man who'd spent the weekend screwing another man's wife. Can I help you? Delivery for Travis Kemp. Need a signature. He took the clipboard without reading it, scrawled his name, and handed it back. That's when I accidentally spilled my extra-large coffee all over his Italian leather slippers. Jesus Christ, these cost $800. Sorry, sir. So sorry. I dabbed at his feet with napkins, using the opportunity to slip a second GPS tracker into his robe pocket. I'll pay for cleaning, of course. Just get out of here. As I walked back to my truck, I heard Melissa's laugh from somewhere inside the house. Light, carefree, happier than she'd sounded in years. The sound cut through me like a blade, but it also hardened my resolve. On the drive home, my phone rang. Frankie, boss, you're not going to believe this. I just got a call from Jim Peterson over at Peterson Realty. Travis Kemp's company is trying to buy our lot. What? Apparently, they want to tear down the buildings and put up condos. Peterson says they're offering way below market value, but they've got some kind of inside information that we're struggling financially. I pulled over to the side of the road. How would they know that? Only 3 people know about our cash flow problems, boss. You, me, and your wife. The pieces clicked into place. Melissa had access to our joint business account. She knew exactly how close we were to bankruptcy. She'd been feeding information to Travis, helping him plan to destroy my livelihood along with my marriage. Frankie, call Peterson back. Tell him we're interested in selling, but we want to meet with all potential buyers. Set it up for tomorrow morning. You got a plan? I'm working on it. That afternoon, I sat in my home office and did something I should have done years ago. I logged into Melissa's personal email account. She'd never been good with passwords. She used her birth year for everything, despite my warnings about security. Her inbox was a treasure trove of evidence. Months of correspondence with Travis, planning their affair, discussing their future together, mocking me and my failing business. There were emails to divorce attorneys, discussions about asset division, plans to move in together after she left me. But the most damaging email was from 3 weeks ago. Melissa had sent Travis detailed financial information about the car lot, including our debts, our cash flow problems, and the fact that we were behind on our property taxes. She'd essentially handed him a roadmap for destroying my business. I forwarded every relevant email to my own account, then composed a message to Melissa's entire contact list, her law firm colleagues, her social circle, her family, everyone in her phone. The subject line read, "Weekend update from Melissa." The body contained the most explicit text messages between her and Travis, along with photos of them together that I'd taken through the lake house windows earlier that morning. I scheduled the email to send Monday morning at 9 a.m., right when everyone would be checking their messages at work. My phone buzzed. A text from Melissa. "Heading home soon. Can't wait to see you," I replied. "Can't wait to see you either. We have so much to talk about." Monday morning arrived gray and drizzly, perfect weather for what I had planned. I was at the lot by 7, drinking coffee with Frankie and waiting for the fireworks to begin. At exactly 9 a.m., my phone started ringing, then Frankie's phone, then the office line. "Holy shit, boss," Frankie said, staring at his phone. "My wife just called, says half the town is talking about Melissa and Travis. The emails are everywhere." The first person to arrive was Clive Henderson, my nosy neighbor who'd been suspiciously friendly lately. He pulled up in his pristine Buick and climbed out with a grim expression. "Eli, we need to talk." "About what, Clive?" "About the fact that I've been seeing Travis Kemp's car in your driveway at night when you've been working late. About the fact that your wife's been lying to you for months." I stared at him. "You knew." "I suspected. I should have said something, but..." He shrugged helplessly. "I didn't want to be the one to tell you." "How many others knew?" "More than you'd think, less than you'd fear." At 9:30, Peterson arrived with 3 potential buyers for the lot. Travis wasn't among them, but his representative was a slick young lawyer who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. "Gentlemen," I said, "before we discuss any sale, I want to make sure you understand the property's full value." I'd spent the weekend researching comparable sales in the area. Our lot was worth significantly more than Travis's insulting offer, especially with the new development plan for the waterfront district. "Mr. Kemp's offer is generous," the lawyer said. "Mr. Kemp's offer is predatory. He's been using inside information about my personal finances to try to steal this property." I showed them the emails Melissa had sent, detailing our private business information. "This is corporate espionage, gentlemen. Mr. Kemp's offer is based on illegally obtained information." The other buyers exchanged glances. One of them, a developer from Portland, spoke up. "If that's true, we'd be interested in making a legitimate offer." By noon, I had 3 competing bids for the property, each one substantially higher than Travis's offer. I accepted the Portland developer's bid, contingent on a 60-day closing period. That's when Melissa arrived. She stormed into the office like an avenging angel, her perfect composure finally cracking. Her face was flushed, her hair disheveled, her usually immaculate business suit wrinkled. "What the hell did you do?" she screamed. "I told the truth. You sent private messages to everyone I know. You humiliated me. You humiliated yourself. I just made sure people knew about it." She slapped me, hard. The sound echoed through the small office, and I saw Frankie move toward us from the corner of my eye. 15 years of marriage, and you throw it away over some stupid emails? I threw it away. I'm not the one fucking my ex-boyfriend in his lake house. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. It's exactly what everyone in town thinks, because they've all seen the evidence. Melissa's phone had been ringing constantly since she arrived. She finally answered it, her voice shaking. Sienna? What do you mean suspended? They can't. What ethics violation? She hung up and stared at me with pure hatred. The State Bar Association received an anonymous complaint about your involvement in Travis's business dealings, I said. Apparently, using privileged information from your husband's finances to help your lover's company constitutes an ethics violation. You bastard! I'm just getting
187 messages to your gym partner? She's just a friend! Don't send photos like—
Watch more on Grammarly.com.
started. At that moment, Travis's blue Explorer limped into the parking lot, smoke pouring from under the hood. The car died with a pathetic wheeze right in front of our office windows. Travis climbed out, his face purple with rage. He'd clearly had a difficult drive back from the lake house. Baxter, what did you do to my car? I fixed a recall issue, free of charge. This piece of shit died 6 times on the highway. That's odd. It's the same model you sold to Mrs. Henderson last month. She hasn't had any problems. Travis realized he was standing in front of witnesses, including Peterson and the other buyers. He forced his voice to remain calm. I want my real car back, now. I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding. This is your real car. The other one belongs to my inventory. You switched them. I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you have documentation proving ownership of a different vehicle? Travis's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Of course he didn't have documentation. The car swap had been done through official recall paperwork, all perfectly legal. This isn't over, he said. You're right, it's not. That evening, I was closing up the lot when my former friends arrived. Brad Sullivan, Mike Chen, and Dave Rodriguez, guys I'd known since high school, who'd been my groomsmen, who'd spent countless weekends at my house watching football and barbecuing. They climbed out of Brad's truck with the grim determination of men on an unpleasant mission. Eli, Brad said, we need to talk. About what? About what you did to Melissa, about those emails. I set down my clipboard and faced them. What I did to Melissa, she called Sarah crying, Mike said. Sarah was his wife, part of Melissa's social circle. Says you've been stalking her, harassing her, trying to destroy her career. Is that what she said? She says you hacked her email, followed her to Travis's house, and sent private messages to everyone she knows just to embarrass her. Dave stepped forward. He was the biggest of the three, had played football in college. That's not the man we know, Eli. That's not how you handle problems. How exactly should I handle my wife's affair? Like an adult, Brad said. Get counseling, work it out. Don't air your dirty laundry all over town. I laughed, a sound with no humor in it. Work it out? She's been planning to leave me for months. She gave Travis inside information to help him steal my business. She's been lying to my face while fucking her ex-boyfriend in his lake house. That's her side of the story, Mike said. Relationships are complicated. There's no other side to this story. I have evidence, photos, text messages, emails going back months, evidence you obtained illegally, Dave said. Evidence you had no right to collect. Evidence of my wife's betrayal. Evidence that you're becoming someone we don't recognize, Brad said. The Eli we know doesn't spy on his wife, doesn't try to destroy people's careers, doesn't humiliate people in public. I stared at them, these men I'd considered my closest friends. Where were you when she was humiliating me? When she was lying to everyone about working late while she was screwing Travis? When she was helping him plan to steal my business? We didn't know, Mike started. Bullshit. You all knew. Your wives knew. Everyone in this goddamn town knew except me. That's not true, Dave said. Then why didn't anyone tell me? Why didn't any of you, my best friends, think I deserved to know what was happening? The silence stretched between us like a chasm. Because we didn't want to hurt you, Brad finally said. So you let her do it instead. Eli, you need to stop this, Mike said. You need to apologize to Melissa. Try to work things out and move on with your life. Apologize? For what? For violating her privacy, for embarrassing her, for acting like a crazy person. That's when I lost it. 15 years of marriage, 20 years of friendship, and they wanted me to apologize for discovering my wife's betrayal. Get off my property. Eli, Brad started. Get off my fucking property before I call the police. You're making a mistake, Dave said. You're throwing away everything good in your life because you can't handle the fact that your marriage failed. My marriage didn't fail. It was murdered by my wife and her lover, with help from friends who cared more about avoiding awkward conversations than protecting someone they claimed to care about. They left, but I could see in their faces that our friendships were over. They'd chosen Melissa's version of events, chosen to believe that I was the villain in this story. Fine, if they wanted a villain, I'd give them one. The next morning, I received a call that changed everything. Detective Ray Halverson from the Willoughby Police Department wanted to meet with me about recent incidents involving Travis Kemp. I found him waiting at the Rusty Anchor, nursing a cup of coffee and looking like a man who'd seen too much of human nature. Eli, thanks for coming. Am I in trouble, Ray? That depends. Travis Kemp filed a complaint yesterday. Says you've been harassing him, vandalizing his property, and interfering with his business. I sat down across from him. Ray and I had gone to high school together, though we'd never been close friends. What kind of vandalism? Someone threw rocks through his office windows Sunday night. Someone also left a dead fish in his mailbox and spray-painted cheater on his driveway. Sounds like he's made some enemies. Sounds like someone's trying to frame you for harassment. I looked at him sharply. What do you mean? I mean the security camera at Murphy's Bakery shows you buying coffee and donuts at the exact time someone was throwing rocks through Travis's windows. I mean the dead fish came from Peterson's bait shop, and Peterson remembers selling it to a blonde woman around noon on Sunday. Melissa, I didn't say that, but whoever's doing this wants it to look like you're responsible. Ray leaned forward. Here's the thing, Eli. I've known you for 25 years. You're not the type to throw rocks through windows or leave dead fish in mailboxes. You're the type to plot and plan and get your revenge legally. Is that a compliment? It's a warning. Whatever you're planning, make sure it stays legal. Because if this escalates into something criminal, I won't be able to protect you. That afternoon, I put my final plan into motion. I'd been saving the best evidence for last, a video I'd recorded through Travis's lake house window, showing him and Melissa in bed together while discussing their plans to destroy that pathetic loser and take over my business. But instead of releasing it publicly, I sent copies to 3 specific people. Travis's ex-wife Jennifer, who'd been fighting him for increased alimony. Melissa's mother, a devoutly religious woman who'd never approved of divorce. And the senior partner at Melissa's law firm, who was already investigating her ethics violations. Then I called a town meeting. Willoughby was small enough that word spread quickly when someone called for a public meeting at the town hall. By 7 p.m., nearly 200 people had gathered, including most of my former friends, Melissa's social circle, and half the business community. I stood at the podium and looked out at the crowd. Melissa sat in the front row with Sienna and several other women from her book club. Travis was in the back, his arms crossed, his face grim. Thank you all for coming, I began. I called this meeting because I believe the people of this community deserve to know the truth about what's been happening in our town. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. 3 weeks ago, I discovered that my wife of 15 years has been having an affair with Travis Kemp. But this isn't just about adultery. It's about corruption, about the abuse of trust, and about the way some people in positions of power think they can destroy others without consequences. I clicked a remote, and the first slide appeared on the projection screen. Copies of the emails Melissa had sent to Travis, detailing our business's financial problems. Melissa Baxter, a licensed attorney, provided confidential information about my business to her lover, information that he then used to make a predatory offer on my property. The crowd was dead silent now. Travis Kemp used this illegally obtained information to try to force me into bankruptcy so he could buy my property for a fraction of its value. I clicked to the next slide. Documentation of Travis's insulting offer compared to the legitimate offers I'd received from other buyers. But it gets worse. The final slide showed bank records I'd obtained through perfectly legal means. Travis had been using shell companies to hide assets from his ex-wife while claiming poverty in their divorce proceedings. Travis Kemp has been committing fraud, using the same tactics he tried to use against me to steal from his own ex-wife and children. Travis stood up. This is slander. I'll sue you for every penny you have. With what money? The money you've been hiding in offshore accounts? The money you claimed didn't exist when the divorce court asked about your assets? Jennifer Kemp stood up from the middle of the crowd. Is this true? Do you have proof? I handed her a folder. Bank records, shell company documentation, everything your divorce attorney will need. Travis's face went white. He pushed through the crowd toward the exit, but found his way blocked by several large men who looked less than friendly. Going somewhere, Travis? One of them asked. I recognized him as Jennifer's brother, a construction worker who'd never liked Travis. This is all lies, Melissa said, standing up. My husband is having a breakdown. He's been stalking me, harassing me, trying to destroy my career because he can't accept that our marriage is over. Is that why you vandalized Travis's office? I asked. To make it look like I was harassing him? I don't know what you're talking about. Pedersen's bait shop has security cameras, Melissa. They show you buying the fish that ended up in Travis's mailbox. The crowd turned to stare at her. Several people pulled out their phones, recording everything. You've been trying to frame me for harassment while you and Travis planned to steal my business and destroy my life. Melissa's composure finally cracked completely. You want to know the truth? Fine. Yes, I'm leaving you. Yes, I love Travis. And yes, you're a pathetic failure who couldn't satisfy me or provide for me or give me the life I deserved. The crowd gasped. Someone's phone clattered to the floor. I've wasted 15 years of my life married to a small-town car salesman with no ambition and no future. Travis is successful, he's wealthy, he's everything you'll never be. And he's also married, said a voice from the back of the room. Everyone turned. A tall, elegant woman in an expensive suit stood in the doorway. Hello, Travis, she said. Surprised to see me? Travis looked like he'd seen a ghost. Rebecca? What are you doing here? I flew in from Denver when I heard about your latest affair. Did you tell Melissa about me? About our wedding next month? The room erupted. Melissa staggered backward as if she'd been slapped. What wedding? She whispered. The wedding Travis has been planning for 6 months, Rebecca said. The same 6 months he's apparently been screwing you. She walked down the aisle toward Travis, her heels clicking on the wooden floor. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? Did you think I was as stupid as your first wife? Travis tried to speak, but no words came out. I hired a private investigator 3 weeks ago. I know about the lake house, the secret phone, the plans to buy some car lot with stolen money. I know everything. She turned to address the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce myself. I'm Rebecca Morrison, Travis Kemp's fiancée, or rather his former fiancée. As of tonight, our engagement is off, and my father's company will be withdrawing all financial support from Mr. Kemp's business ventures. Travis finally found his voice. Rebecca, please, let me explain. Explain what? How you've been lying to me for months. How you've been using my family's money to finance your affair. How you've been planning to marry me while promising this woman you'd leave everything for her. She pulled out her phone and showed the screen to the crowd. I recorded your conversation with Melissa yesterday, the one where you told her not to worry about me because I was just a business arrangement, and you'd dump me as soon as the merger went through. Melissa collapsed into her chair, her face buried in her hands. The merger that's now canceled, Rebecca continued, along with the financing for your development projects, your line of credit, and your lease on the downtown office building. Travis was backing toward the exit, but Jennifer's brother and several other men blocked his way. You're not going anywhere, Detective Halverson said, appearing beside them. Travis Kemp, you're under arrest for fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. As the handcuffs clicked into place, Travis looked directly at me. This is all your fault, he said. No, I replied. This is all your fault. I just made sure everyone knew about it. The crowd began to disperse, but not before several people stopped to shake my hand or pat my shoulder. My former friends avoided eye contact and slipped out the back exit. Melissa sat alone in the front row, abandoned by her lover, her friends, and her dreams of a better life. I walked over to her. The divorce papers will be ready tomorrow, I said. I'm keeping the house, the business, and the car. You can keep your law degree, assuming the state bar doesn't revoke it. She looked up at me with tears streaming down her face. I loved you once, she whispered. I know, I loved you too. But love isn't enough when it's built on lies. I turned and walked away, leaving her sitting alone in the empty hall. Outside, Rebecca Morrison was waiting by her rental car. Thank you, she said. For what? For giving me the evidence I needed to see who Travis really was. Your private investigator contacted mine last week. We've been comparing notes. I smiled. I don't have a private investigator. Then who sent me copies of Travis's text messages and bank records? Someone who believes cheaters should face consequences. She laughed and extended her hand. Rebecca Morrison. And you're Eli Baxter, the man who just saved me from making the biggest mistake of my life. That's me. I owe you dinner. Maybe we can discuss it after your divorce is final. She drove away, leaving me standing in the parking lot of the town hall, where I'd just destroyed 2 lives and saved at least 1. My phone buzzed with a text from Frankie. Boss, the Portland developer called. He wants to accelerate the closing, says he's impressed with your business acumen, and wants to discuss a partnership. I looked back at the town hall, where the lights were going out one by one. Melissa's car was still in the parking lot, but she was nowhere to be seen. Tomorrow, I'd start over. New business, new life, new possibilities. Tonight, I'd go home to my empty house and sleep better than I had in months. Justice, I reflected, really was a dish best served cold. But it tasted pretty good hot, too.